Ethan sat alone in his small dark room, the only light coming from a weak yellow bulb above his head. Empty bottles were scattered all around him, some lying on the floor, some on the table, and some still in his shaking hands. He picked up another bottle and stared at it for a long moment, his eyes tired and empty. This was not new for him. Drinking had become his daily habit, his only escape from a life that felt heavy and silent. He slowly opened the bottle and took a long drink, waiting for the burn, waiting for the numb feeling that always followed. But nothing happened. No dizziness, no warmth, no escape. Ethan frowned and looked at the bottle again, as if it had betrayed him. He drank more, faster this time, almost desperate. Still nothing. His heartbeat stayed calm, his mind stayed clear, and the pain inside him remained just as strong as before. "Why can't I get drunk anymore?" he whispered to himself, his voice low and broken. The room stayed silent for a moment, too silent. Then something strange happened. A soft voice answered him. "Because I am digesting it for you, human." Ethan froze. His body went completely still. The room, no one was there. The door was closed, the windows were locked, and the shadows in the corners had not moved. For a second, he thought he imagined it. Maybe the alcohol had finally affected his brain in a different way. But then the voice came again, clearer this time, calm and gentle. "Alcohol is harmful to your body. I am protecting you." Ethan's hand began to shake, and the bottle slipped from his fingers, hitting the floor with a dull sound. His heart started beating faster now, not from alcohol, but from fear. Who said that?" he asked, his voice weak and unsure. There was no answer for a moment, only silence filling the room again. Then the voice spoke once more. "I did." Ethan stood up quickly, his chair falling behind him. "Show yourself," he said loudly, his eyes wide with panic, but there was still no one there. The voice did not come from outside. It came from somewhere much closer, somewhere inside him. "This is not real," he muttered, trying to calm himself. "You are not real." The voice responded softly, almost like a child trying to explain something simple. "I am real, human. I am inside you." Ethan's mind began to race, fear mixing with confusion inside him. That was impossible. Nothing could live inside him and speak like this. He stumbled back and leaned against the wall, trying to stay standing. How is that possible?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper now. There was a small pause, as if the voice was thinking. Then it answered, slow and careful. "You saved me." Ethan's eyes narrowed, trying to understand. "I don't remember saving anything," he said quickly, almost angrily. But deep inside his mind, something felt strange. A memory, blurred and distant, tried to come back. Ethan's breathing stopped for a second. A faint image flashed in his mind. A dark night, a quiet place, something small and glowing in the distance. He shook his head, trying to push the thought away. No, that's not real," he said. But the voice did not stop. "You helped me, human. You gave me shelter." Ethan slowly slid down the wall until he was sitting on the cold floor. His fear was still there, but now something else was growing, something deeper, confusion and curiosity. If you are inside me," he said slowly, "then what are you?" There was a longer pause this time. The silence felt heavy, like the answer itself carried weight. Then the voice finally spoke, softer than before. "I am still growing." Ethan looked down at his hands, still shaking slightly. Nothing about him looked different. Everything seemed normal. But he knew now that nothing was normal anymore. The voice spoke one last time, quiet but clear. "You saved me once. Now I will never leave you." Ethan closed his eyes, his mind overwhelmed. The empty bottles, the dark room, his lonely life. Everything had just changed in a way he could not understand. And deep inside him, something unknown was alive, watching, protecting, and waiting. The silence returned again, but this time it was different, because Ethan knew he was no longer alone, his back against the wall and his eyes fixed on nothing. The room felt different now, heavier, but his mind was still in chaos. A voice inside him that was not possible, and yet it had spoken. It had answered him. It had known things. This is not real, he whispered again, but this time his voice had no strength. You are real, the voice replied gently. Almost patiently, Ethan's eyes snapped open. You're still there, he said, fear rising again. I never left. The voice answered, calm and steady. Ethan pressed his hands against his head, trying to think clearly. Then, prove it, he said quickly. If you are real, prove it. There was a short silence. Then the voice spoke. Drink again. Ethan looked at the broken bottle on the floor, then at another unopened one on the table. For a moment, he hesitated. But curiosity was stronger than fear. He stood up slowly, his legs still weak, and grabbed the bottle. He opened it and took a long, deep drink. He waited 1 second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds. Nothing. No burning feeling, no dizziness, no effect at all. Is gone, the voice said softly. I removed it. Ethan's grip tightened on the bottle. How are you doing this? He asked, his voice filled with disbelief. I break it down, the voice replied, simple and clear. I absorb harmful substances before they affect you. Ethan shook his head, trying to understand. That's not possible, he said. It is happening, the voice replied. Ethan stayed silent for a moment, then asked slowly, why would you do that? The word felt strange, heavy. Host, Ethan repeated. Yes. The voice said, I live inside you. Your survival is important to me. Ethan felt a chill run through his body. So, I'm just a body to you, he said quietly. No, the voice replied quickly. Almost urgently, you are more than that. Ethan frowned, confused by the tone. Then what am I? He asked. There was a small hesitation. Then the voice said, you are the one who saved me. Ethan looked down at the floor, his mind going back to that strange memory again. The dark night, the faint glow. Something small and weak. He could almost see it now. What are you? He asked again, more serious this time. I am not something your kind has a name for. The voice replied, I was alone, injured, and close to ending. Ethan listened carefully, his fears slowly mixing with curiosity. And now, the voice continued, I am healing inside you. Ethan's eyes narrowed. Healing. By using me, he said. The voice answered honestly. I use what you consume. I convert it into energy. Ethan let out a slow breath, trying to stay calm. So the alcohol. You take it. Yes. And other things too. Yes, Ethan. Felt a strange realization hit him. That's why I haven't been sick, he said slowly. My headaches, my pain. They disappeared. I removed them, the voice confirmed. Ethan sat back down on the chair, his body still tense. This was not just something in his head. This was real. And if I don't eat or drink, Ethan asked, what happens to you? There was a pause. I weaken. The voice said quietly, and if you weaken too much, Ethan continued, I may not survive. The voice replied. The room became silent again. Ethan stared at the table, thinking deeply. So we depend on each other, he said. Yes. The voice answered. Ethan let out a small, nervous laugh. That's crazy, he said. But the voice did not respond to that. Instead, it spoke again, softer this time. There is more you should know. Ethan's smile faded. What? He asked carefully. I am not fully grown yet, the voice said. Ethan felt tension return to his chest. What does that mean? It means I will change. The voice explained. I will become stronger. Ethan's heartbeat increased. And what happens to me when you do? He asked. There was a long silence. For a moment, Ethan thought the voice would not answer. But then it spoke very quietly. That depends on you. Ethan stood up again, uneasy. I don't like that answer, he said. I am still learning, the voice replied. I do not want to harm you. Ethan looked around the room, as if trying to escape a situation he could not see. This is insane, he muttered. But deep inside, he knew one thing. This was real, and it was only the beginning. Then the voice said one final thing. Calm, soft, but filled with meaning. I was dying. Before I found you. Human. Ethan slowly turned his head, his expression serious now. And now, the voice continued, I am becoming something else. The silence that followed felt heavier than before, because Ethan understood whatever was inside him was not just surviving anymore. Ethan did not sleep that night. He lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling, his eyes open and his mind restless. The voice inside him had gone quiet, but its presence was still there, like a shadow he could not escape. Every small sound in the room felt louder, every thought heavier. He turned to his side, then to the other, trying to find some comfort, but there was none. Finally, he whispered into the silence, Are you still there? For a moment. There was no answer. Then the voice returned, soft and calm. Yes, human, I am here. Ethan closed his eyes tightly. I need to understand, he said slowly. Everything started that night. Tell me what really happened. There was a pause, as if the voice was searching through memories. Then it spoke. I will show you. Before Ethan could ask what that meant, a strange feeling passed through his body. A sudden warmth spread from his chest to his head. His vision blurred, and the room around him began to fade. No. What are you doing? He said, trying to move. I am sharing memory. The voice replied gently, and then everything changed. The dark room disappeared, replaced by a cold night under an open sky. Ethan found himself standing in a forest. The air was quiet, and the ground was covered with dry leaves. He looked around, confused. This is not real, he said. It is your memory, the voice answered. Ethan took a slow step forward, his heart beating faster. Then he saw it. A faint blue glow between the trees, weak but steady. He felt something pull him toward it. Step by step, he moved closer. The glow became clearer, and then he saw a small figure lying on the ground. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. A small body, fragile and thin. Its skin glowing softly with a blue light. It looked like a child, but not human. Its breathing was weak, almost fading. Ethan watched himself in the memory. Another version of him stepped closer to the creature. What is this? Past Ethan whispered, his voice filled with shock. The creature did not move. Its light flickered, as if it was about to go out. Help me. A faint, broken sound came from it. Ethan in the present felt his chest tighten. That was you, he said softly. Yes, the voice replied. He watched as his past self knelt down beside the creature. There was fear in his eyes, but also something else. Kindness. He looked around, as if expecting danger, but the forest stayed silent. Then slowly, carefully, he took off his jacket and wrapped it around the small glowing body. It's freezing, past Ethan said. The creature's light became slightly stronger. Ethan reached into his bag and took out a bottle of water. He gently lifted the creature's head and gave it a few drops. The creature reacted, weak but alive. Stay with me, Ethan said, his voice more firm now. In the present, Ethan watched in silence, his eyes focused on every detail. I didn't run, he whispered, almost surprised. No, the voice said. You stayed, the memory continued. Ethan carried the small creature in his arms, walking slowly through the dark forest, every step careful, every movement protective. The creature's glow pulsed softly against his chest. I was scared, past Ethan said quietly, but I couldn't leave it. The present Ethan felt something change inside him, a feeling he had not felt in a long time. Purpose. The memory shifted again. Now they were inside his small room, the same room he was in now. He placed the creature gently on his bed. Its breathing was still weak, but more stable than before. What are you? Ethan asked, sitting beside it. The creature opened its eyes slightly. They were bright, glowing with a soft light, but filled with pain. Alone. It whispered. Ethan looked at it for a long moment, then sighed. You're safe here, he said. In the present, Ethan felt his throat tighten. I said that, he murmured. Yes, the voice replied softly. The memory continued. Hours passed. Ethan stayed awake, watching over the creature, making sure it did not die. At some point, exhaustion took over, and he fell asleep beside it. Then came the final moment. The creature slowly sat up, its light now a little stronger. It looked at the sleeping human beside it. "You saved me," it whispered. Then something strange happened. Its body began to dissolve into light. Soft particles floated in the air, moving slowly toward Ethan. "No." "Wait," Present Ethan said, reaching out. But he could not stop it. The glowing particles entered his body, one by one, disappearing into his chest. The room returned. The memory ended. Ethan gasped as he found himself back in his bed, breathing heavily. That really happened," he said, his voice shaking. "Yes," the voice replied. "I had no strength to survive alone." Ethan sat up slowly, his hands trembling. "So you came inside me?" "Yes." "And stayed?" "Yes." Ethan looked down at his chest as if he could see through it. "You didn't leave," he whispered. "No," the voice said gently. "I chose you." The words hung in the air, heavy and meaningful. Ethan felt a strange mix of emotions, fear, confusion, but also something else, a connection. Then the voice spoke again, softer than ever before. "You gave me life, human." There was a pause. "And now, I am becoming something new." Ethan sat quietly on the edge of his bed, his eyes fixed on the floor. The memory still felt fresh, like it had just happened moments ago. His mind was trying to accept something impossible, something beyond logic. There was something alive inside him, something that had chosen him, becoming something new. He repeated slowly. His voice sounded distant, even to himself. "What does that mean?" he asked, his tone more serious now. For a moment, the voice did not answer. Then it spoke, calm but careful. "It means I am growing." Ethan frowned, lifting his head slightly. "Growing into what?" he asked. There was a short pause. "I do not fully know yet," the voice replied. "I am still learning, still adapting." Ethan let out a slow breath, trying to stay calm. "That's not very comforting," he said quietly. Silence filled the room again. But this time it did not feel empty. It felt like something was thinking, watching, waiting. Ethan stood up and walked toward the mirror. He looked at his reflection carefully. Same face, same tired eyes, same human body. Nothing had changed on the outside, but inside, everything was different. "Show me," he said suddenly. The voice responded almost instantly. "What do you want to see?" "You said you're protecting me." "Healing me," Ethan said. "Then show me something real." There was a small pause. Then the voice answered. "Raise your hand." Ethan hesitated for a second, then slowly lifted his right hand. "Now focus," the voice said. Ethan stared at his hand, confused but curious. At first, nothing happened. Then he felt it, a strange warmth moving under his skin, like something alive was shifting inside him. His eyes widened as faint lines of soft blue light appeared beneath his skin, moving slowly like veins made of light. "What is that?" he whispered. "That is me," the voice replied calmly. Ethan's breathing became faster as he watched the glowing lines move. They flowed through his fingers, then faded away. His hand returned to normal. Ethan quickly stepped back from the mirror, his heart racing. "That's not normal," he said, fear creeping back into his voice. "I am not normal," the voice answered simply. Ethan ran his hand through his hair, trying to process everything. Okay, he muttered. "You can heal me, remove alcohol, move inside me." He stopped and looked straight ahead. "What else can you do?" There was a longer pause this time. Then the voice spoke again, slower, more serious. "I can protect you from harm." Ethan's expression tightened. "What kind of harm?" he asked. Instead of answering directly, the voice said, "Test it." Ethan blinked in confusion. "Test it? How?" "Create a small injury," the voice replied. Ethan froze. "You want me to hurt myself," he said, disbelief in his tone. "I will not allow permanent damage," the voice answered calmly. Ethan hesitated, clearly unsure, but curiosity and something deeper pushed him forward. He walked to the table and picked up a small knife. His hand trembled slightly as he looked at it. "This is crazy," he whispered. "Trust me," the voice said softly. Ethan took a deep breath, then made a small cut on his finger, Pain shot through instantly. "Ah," he hissed, dropping the knife. A small line of blood appeared on his skin. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the warmth returned, stronger this time. Ethan watched in shock as the blue light moved under his skin again. Rushing toward the wound, the bleeding stopped almost immediately. The cut began to close, slowly but clearly, within seconds. The skin was almost normal again. Only a faint mark remained. Ethan stared at his finger, unable to speak. That healed," he said finally. "Yes," the voice replied. "I repaired the damage." Ethan felt his heart pounding in his chest. "This is impossible," he said. "But it is happening," the voice answered again. Ethan laughed nervously, stepping back. "So I can't get drunk, I can't get sick, and now I heal like this." He shook his head. "What are you turning me into?" There was silence for a moment. Then the voice spoke, quieter than before. "I am not turning you into anything. I am helping you survive." Ethan looked down at his hands again. "They won't leave me alone, will they?" he said slowly. "Who?" the voice asked. "Humans," Ethan replied. "If anyone finds out about this, they'll want to study me. Cut me open." His voice grew darker, filled with fear. "I've seen what they do to things they don't understand." The voice became silent for a moment, as if processing his words. Then it answered, calm but firm. "I will not let that happen." Ethan looked up, surprised by the tone. "You can't promise that," he said. "I can try," the voice replied. "And I will learn." Ethan exhaled slowly. This situation was bigger than he thought, more dangerous than he imagined. Then he asked something important. "You said you need energy. From what I consume." "Yes. What happens if it's not enough?" There was a pause, longer than before. The silence felt heavy. Then the voice answered quietly, "I will begin to weaken." "And if you weaken too much," Ethan pressed. Another pause. This one felt colder. "Then I may not survive," the voice said softly. Ethan swallowed hard. "And if you don't survive?" He stopped, unsure if he wanted to hear the answer, but the voice spoke anyway. "Then your body will lose the protection I provide." Ethan's chest tightened. "That's not all, is it?" he said slowly. The silence returned, but this time, it felt like the truth was hiding inside it. After a few seconds, the voice finally spoke. "If I die, the damage I have prevented may return all at once." Ethan's eyes widened. "All at once?" he repeated. "Yes," the voice confirmed. The meaning hit him instantly. Every illness, every toxin, every damage that had been stopped could come back in one moment. Ethan stepped back, fear clear on his face now. "That would kill me," he said. There was no denial this time, only a quiet answer. "Yes." The room became silent again, but now the silence was filled with a new kind of fear. Not just fear of the unknown, but fear of losing something that was keeping him alive. Ethan slowly sat down, his mind heavy with the truth. This was no longer just a strange voice. It was a connection, a bond, a shared survival, and deep inside him, something was still growing, learning, becoming stronger, waiting for what would come next. Morning came slowly, but Ethan did not feel any relief. The light from the window touched the floor, but the room still felt heavy. He had not slept, not even for a minute. Every thought in his mind kept returning to the same truth. He was no longer alone, and whatever was inside him was not just alive. It was growing. Ethan stood near the window, looking outside at the quiet street. Everything looked normal. People walking, cars passing, life moving forward, but for him, nothing was normal anymore. "They will find out," he said quietly. The voice inside him responded, calm but alert. "Who will find out?" "People," Ethan said, turning away from the window. "Scientists, government, anyone who sees something like this." There was a short pause. "Why would they search for us?" the voice asked. Ethan let out a dry laugh. "Because you are not from here," he said. "And humans don't like things they don't understand." The voice became silent, as if thinking deeply. Then it asked, "Will they harm us?" Ethan did not answer immediately. His face grew serious, his eyes distant. "Yes," he said finally. "They will not see you as a life. They will see you as something to study, The room fell silent again. But this time, something changed. The voice spoke again, slower than before. Then we must stay hidden. Ethan nodded slightly. Yeah, we do. He walked toward the table and picked up his phone. He had not checked it all night. As soon as the screen turned on, his expression changed. Multiple missed calls, unknown numbers, messages he did not recognize. That's strange, he muttered. What is it? The voice asked. I don't know. This is not normal, Ethan replied. Before he could think further, the phone rang again, unknown number. Ethan hesitated, then answered. Hello, he said carefully. There was no response for a second. Then a cold, controlled voice spoke. Ethan Cole. Ethan froze. Yes, who is this? He asked, his tone tense. We need to speak with you, the voice said. How did you get this number? Ethan asked quickly. That is not important, the voice replied. What is important is that you are in possession of something that does not belong to you. Ethan's grip on the phone tightened. I don't know what you're talking about, he said, trying to stay calm. There was a small pause. Then the voice said something that made his blood run cold. The anomaly inside your body. We are aware of it. Ethan's heart started pounding hard. Inside him, the voice spoke quickly. They know. Ethan tried to control his breathing. You're mistaken, he said into the phone. But the person on the other side did not sound convinced. We have been tracking unusual biological signals for the past 48 hours, the voice explained. They lead directly to you, Ethan's mind raced. Tracking. Signals, the thing inside him. End the call, the voice inside him whispered urgently. Ethan did not argue. He hung up immediately, his hands shaking. They found us, he said, panic rising. Yes, the voice replied, now more alert than ever. They are close. Ethan quickly moved to the window and looked outside again. At first, everything looked normal. Then he saw it, a black vehicle parked across the street, 2 people standing beside it, watching his building. They're here, he whispered. Inside him, the voice responded. We must leave. Ethan nodded quickly. Yeah. Now, he grabbed his jacket and moved toward the door. But before he could open it, there was a loud knock. Bang, bang, bang. Ethan froze in place. His heart felt like it would jump out of his chest. Ethan Cole, a voice called from outside. Open the door. Ethan stepped back slowly, his breathing uneven. They're already here, he whispered. We cannot let them take us, the voice said firmly. Ethan looked around the room, searching for a way out. There's no back exit, he said, panic growing. The knocking became louder, more aggressive. Open the door now, the voice outside demanded. Inside him, the presence shifted. A stronger warmth spread through his body. I will help you, it said. Ethan felt it instantly. His body felt lighter, faster, stronger. What are you doing? He asked. Enhancing your movement, the voice replied. Ethan did not fully understand, but he trusted it. He rushed toward the window, opened it quickly, and looked down. 2nd floor. Not safe. But no choice. Jump, the voice said. Ethan hesitated for only a second. Then he climbed out and jumped. The moment he hit the ground, the impact felt softer than expected. He rolled forward and quickly stood up. No pain, no injury. They're coming, the voice warned. Ethan looked back. The door of his apartment burst open. Dark figures rushed inside. They'll follow, Ethan said, already running. Yes, the voice replied. Run faster. Ethan moved through the streets, his heart racing. His body felt different. Stronger, faster, more alive. People around him turned in surprise as he passed, but he did not stop. Behind him, the black vehicle started moving. They are tracking us, the voice said. Ethan turned into a narrow alley, trying to lose them. Who are they? He asked. Breathless. I do not know. But they want me, the voice answered. Ethan clenched his fists as he ran. They're not getting you, he said firmly. There was a short silence. Then the voice spoke, softer this time. They will try to separate us. Ethan's expression hardened. Not happening, he said. The chase continued, faster, more intense. And for the first time, Ethan understood the truth. This was no longer just survival. This was a fight. A fight to protect something the world would never understand. And deep inside him, the alien was no longer just hiding, it was waking up, becoming something far more powerful than before. Ethan did not stop running. His breath was heavy, but his legs kept moving, faster than he ever thought possible. The narrow alley behind him echoed with distant footsteps and the low sound of engines. "They are still following," the voice inside him said, calm but focused. "I know," Ethan replied between breaths, turning sharply into another street. His heart was pounding, but his body felt stronger than before, almost unnatural. Every movement was sharper, every reaction quicker. It was not just fear pushing him forward anymore. It was something else, something inside him. "Guiding him, left," the voice said suddenly. Ethan did not question it. He turned instantly, slipping into a darker path between buildings. "They are tracking your signal," the voice continued. "Signal?" Ethan asked. Confused. "Yes," it replied. "My presence creates energy patterns. They can detect it." Ethan clenched his jaw. "So no matter where I go, they can find me." "For now," the voice answered. Ethan kept moving until he reached an old, empty building, its door half broken. He rushed inside and closed it quietly behind him. The inside was dark and silent, dust floating in the air. He leaned against the wall, trying to catch his breath. "We need a plan," he whispered. There was a short pause. Then the voice spoke again, softer than before. "I am losing energy." Ethan's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" he asked quickly. "I used too much to enhance your body," the voice replied. "I am weaker now." Ethan felt a sudden weight in his chest. "That's bad." "Right, yes," the voice said quietly. "If I weaken further, I may not be able to protect you." Ethan looked toward the broken window, watching the street carefully. The danger was getting closer. "We need to move again," he said. "No," the voice responded. "We need to hide." Ethan frowned. "Hiding won't solve anything." "It will give me time," the voice explained. Ethan stayed silent for a moment, thinking. Then he nodded slightly. "Okay." "We hide." He moved deeper into the building, finding a small room with no windows. It was dark, quiet, and hidden. He sat down on the cold floor, his back against the wall again. For a moment, everything was still. Then Ethan spoke softly. "You said you're losing energy. How do I help?" There was a long pause, the kind that made the silence feel heavy. Then the voice answered, weaker than before. "You must give me more." Ethan frowned. Confused. "More what?" "Energy," the voice said. "From what you consume, but faster. Stronger." Ethan understood what it meant. "You need more food," he said. "Yes." "But not just food," the voice replied. Ethan's expression changed. "What else?" There was hesitation this time, something the voice had not shown before. Then it spoke slowly, carefully. "I can draw energy directly from your body." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. "From me," he repeated. "Yes." "And what happens if you do that?" Ethan asked, his voice serious. There was a silence that felt heavier than all the others. "It will weaken you," the voice said finally. "How much?" Ethan pressed. "I do not know." Ethan looked down at his hands. This was the moment, the choice: run and survive alone, or help the thing inside him, and risk everything. Outside, faint footsteps echoed, getting closer. "They are searching the area," the voice warned. Weaker now, Ethan closed his eyes for a second, then opened them again, more focused, more determined. "You saved me too," he said quietly. The voice did not respond. "You removed my pain, my sickness. You protected me," Ethan continued. "I won't let you die." The presence inside him felt different now, quieter, almost emotional, human. It whispered. Ethan took a deep breath. "Do it," he said firmly. There was a moment of silence, as if the creature inside him was hesitating. "I do not want to harm you," it said softly. "You won't," Ethan replied. "I trust you." That word changed everything. Trust. The next moment, Ethan felt it, a deep pull from inside his chest, not pain but pressure. Like something was drawing strength from him. His body became heavy, his breathing slower, his vision slightly blurred. But he did not stop it. He stayed still, letting it happen. Inside him, the light moved again, stronger this time, spreading across his body. The presence began to stabilize. "I am recovering," the voice said. Slowly gaining strength, Ethan gave a weak smile. "Good," he whispered, but his body was clearly affected now. His hands trembled, his energy fading. "You must stop," the voice said suddenly. "You are becoming too weak." Ethan shook his head slightly. "Not yet." "You need more." "No," the voice replied firmly this time. "I will not take more than needed." The pressure stopped. Ethan exhaled deeply, his body relaxing slightly, but he was still weak, very weak. "You're okay now?" he asked. "Yes," the voice answered, stronger than before. "I am stable." Ethan nodded slowly, leaning his head back against the wall. "Good, because I don't think I can run again," he said with a faint, tired smile. For a moment, everything was quiet again, but then footsteps, closer this time, right outside the building. "They found us," the voice said. Ethan's eyes opened slowly. His body was weak, but his mind was clear. "Then we don't run," he said. The voice paused, surprised. "What do you mean?" Ethan slowly pushed himself up, despite the weakness in his legs. "We face them," he said. Inside him, the presence shifted. Stronger now, more awake than ever before. "They are dangerous," it warned. Ethan took a step toward the door, his expression calm but determined. "So are we," he replied. Outside, shadows moved closer, weapons ready, voices low and controlled. Inside, something was changing. The bond between human and alien was no longer just survival. It was something deeper, something stronger. And as Ethan stood there, weak but unbroken, the presence inside him began to rise, not as something hiding anymore, but as something ready to fight. Ethan stood in the center of the dark room, his body weak but his eyes steady. The footsteps outside were clear now, slow and careful. They were close, very close inside him. The presence moved like a quiet storm, no longer hiding, no longer afraid. "They are preparing to enter," the voice said. Calm but alert, Ethan took a slow breath, trying to control the weakness in his body. "I know," he replied, his voice low but firm. His legs felt heavy, his arms slightly shaking, but something deeper was holding him up, something stronger than fear. "You should not fight in this condition," the voice warned. "I don't have a choice," Ethan answered. There was a short silence, then the voice spoke again. Different this time, stronger, clearer. "Then we fight together." Ethan felt it instantly, a surge of energy spreading through his chest. The same blue light from before, but brighter now, more intense. It moved through his veins like flowing fire. "What are you doing?" Ethan asked. "I am no longer only protecting," the voice replied. "I am evolving." Outside, the door burst open with force. Armed figures rushed in, their movements fast and controlled. "Target located," one of them said. Ethan did not move. He stood there, facing them, his body glowing faintly under his skin. "Stay where you are," another voice ordered, pointing a weapon at him. Ethan's eyes did not show fear anymore, only focus. "You don't understand what you're doing," he said calmly. The agents did not respond. They moved closer. Surrounding him, inside him, the presence spoke. "They will try to separate us." Ethan clenched his fist slightly. "Then don't let them," he whispered. The moment the agent stepped closer, everything changed. A sudden pulse of blue light burst from Ethan's body. The air itself seemed to vibrate. The agent stopped, surprised. "What is that?" one of them shouted. Ethan felt the energy rising, stronger than before. Not painful, not uncontrollable, but powerful. "I am stabilizing," the voice said. "I am complete." Ethan's breathing became steady, his weakness fading. His body felt whole again, stronger than ever. "You're different," he said quietly. "Yes," the voice replied. "I have adapted." The agents raised their weapons, panic starting to show. "Do not move," one of them shouted. But it was already too late. Ethan stepped forward, fast, faster than any human should move. In a single moment, he closed the distance. A wave of force pushed the agents back, sending them crashing into the walls. They tried to stand, but their movements were slow. Confused, Ethan looked at his hands. Glowing brighter now. "This is you," he said. "This is us," the voice corrected gently. The room fell silent, except for the weak sounds of the fallen agents. Ethan looked at them, not with anger, but with understanding. "They were afraid," he said. "Yes," the voice replied. "They do not understand." Ethan lowered his hands. The light slowly dimming but not disappearing. "What are we now?" he asked. There was a pause. Then the voice answered, "We are something new." Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the energy inside him, stable and calm. "No, not just new," he said slowly. "Stronger." The presence inside him responded softly. "Together." Ethan looked toward the broken door. The outside world waiting beyond it. "They won't stop," he said. "No," the voice agreed. "They will return with more." Ethan nodded slightly. "Then we don't hide anymore." The voice was silent for a moment, then asked, "What will we do?" Ethan stepped forward, moving past the fallen agents, toward the light outside. His body still glowing faintly, his mind clear. "We protect," he said. "Not just ourselves, but others too." The presence inside him felt different again, warmer, understanding. "You still choose to help," it said. Ethan gave a small, tired smile. "That's what I did when I found you." There was a soft pause. Then the voice spoke, almost like a whisper. "My human. My protector." Ethan stepped out into the open world, the sunlight touching his face. Everything looked the same, but nothing was the same anymore. Inside him was no longer just a voice. It was a life, a bond, a power that had grown from trust and survival. Far away, unseen, others were already watching, already preparing. But Ethan was not afraid anymore, because he was no longer alone, and deep within him, the alien presence was no longer weak or hidden. It was awake, complete, and evolving beyond anything the world had ever known. Ethan looked ahead, his voice calm and certain. "I saved an alien child, and now we save each other."